Welcome back to the Late Start Racing channel. Today we're going to work on this 1998 Ford Ranger.
At the mile and a half, 101.607.
So this is a parts truck. This is not another one that we're gonna try to get on the road by any means. Hopefully the 3-liter V6 that is in this truck is still good and we can get it running today and be confident that if we take this out and we slide it into Brookie's Daly Ranger, it'll last at least a little while. Hopefully it'll last a long time, and it will be the engine that gets it around town, to and from high school and whatever else in the future. And we'll work on the other engine as a like hot stock engine, what have you. We'll put some effort in the other one. We've been back and forth about that. We did acquire another parts truck that didn't turn out so well. Probably see a video now.
Careful you don't get your fingers in those drawers over there. Caught up in them.
It should be kind of, you ready?
Yeah. Aw, dude. Aw, dude. That's like 90 weight.
Oh, you know, we're not to the good part yet.
Oh. Careful, don't get that on you. Is that like a chunk in there? Oh. Oh my. How did it even...
I don't know how.
It had to have been like two ticks away from gaboom.
Look at the,
Oh.
and it's all,
It's water,
the
yeah.
whole bottom, yeah, it's definitely
water
cooked
and
water
yeah,
and oil.
And oil, yeah.
No, Shal, do not stand up in that.
Don't back up, sweetie. Oh, that's a, yep.
It's about as bad as you can get right there. Look at
Oh
that.
my, look at that.
It's all, the whole, like I say, it's water.
Maya, why would you take mine?
And so we had to send that one back to where it came from, unfortunately. And at that point we said, all right, we're just gonna go full in and we're gonna rebuild the engine that we got. And that'll be the one that we stick in it, and that's it. Where the original plan was to, after we measured that engine out, we're like, hey, this thing's pretty good. Let's spend some time on this and make it better than a stock one. And we'll find a replacement just to get the truck running in the meantime. And then we got that one. We got that parts truck, didn't work out. We're like, oh man, we're gonna say we don't want to waste any more time. Let's just rebuild this one. And of course, time kept going by and it didn't get done. There's other things, full-time jobs, school, other projects, Gramps Land speed car, you know, things. There's a lot of stuff vying for all of our times, whether it be Grant, mine, or Brooks. So we're back at this. This was actually very generous of a friend of ours and folks he knows. Our friend John lives up in the town of Alton in Maine. He's a selectman and is very involved in the community, being a selectman. And he knew, and of course he lives right near where this truck was, the local snowmobile club, the LA Sledders up there in Alton, and Bob Leland. They have trail grooming vehicles that are based on Ford Rangers. They have tracks, and they drag the groomer, smooth out the trails, so snowmobile riding is nice and comfy, sort of most days. Sometimes if there's enough snow, lately there's not enough snow in the winter to ride trails that much. But nonetheless, this is a parts vehicle that they had out behind the clubhouse, And if I remember right, it'd been there for 10 years. It'd been sitting there for 10 years. And I guess this thing is rusty. I mean, there's not much left on this thing that's worth anything, which is amazing that we might get an engine. I'd be super surprised if this engine is good enough. And it's actually, the engine doesn't seem to be that rusty. Watch it be like oil pans literally coming out of it. I haven't got under it yet. But it looks pretty good from the top side, but everything else is bad. I mean, there's rust holes in the differential cover. You can see the ring gear in there, which I've never seen that before. Not even in like old farm dumps or like we have around here in the state where you had farmland and, you know, you didn't bring a car to a junkyard. You put it out to pasture, if you will, out in the tree line and left it there. But there's holes through the differential, which is wild. There ain't a cab mount left in it. Core support's pretty much non-existent down here, among other things. And but hopefully this engine is good. So we're back on hoping this is good because we're pressed for time to make it to Loring. We need to get an engine in this in Brookie's Ranger and get her Ranger back together for that matter. And get her learning how to drive standard so that maybe she can race this year. It's going to be extremely tight. But today we're going to try to figure out if this engine is any good before we go through taking it out. So we're going to go through the process of that. Gramp has already done a great deal of work for us. Thanks, Gramp. I had this towed from over at where it was before to Gramps here, and Gramp got it inside, and he went gung-ho, stripped all the nose off and everything like that. We didn't really talk about it much before that. He was very excited, rightfully so, because some of the parts we took off Brookie's Ranger, cracked, broken, whatever, usable but not ideal, and he was thinking that a lot of these parts would be the same thing on there, but unfortunately being a 98, I believe, and I probably might be wrong here, 95, 96, somewhere in there, you know, the nose changed. So there isn't really much that swaps between the two. Definitely no grill, bumper, hood. It's got a different, you know, whole bump on it, and the other one doesn't have the bump. I haven't actually figured out the fenders exactly yet. The fenders were good on this. They were replaced because they likely had rotted off already. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna go through trying to get this thing running in the chassis, see if it's any good, and if it is, get it peeled out of here today, and likely just dispose of this thing because there is not much. Maybe the back window. We might take the back window out because the newer slider. But I think that's probably about it of value here. But it'd be great. Just cost me a tow. Tows are expensive now though. Cost me $200 just to have this thing towed about 15 miles. Yeah, it's about 15 miles. But it is what it is, I guess. Still, it's free. Thanks, Bob and John. It costs $200 to get over here, but if we get a running engine out of this thing, then it's worth the $200. So all day long. All right, so let's get stuck in it. All right, so before we get started into this, or much more than we already have, like I mentioned, Gramp had already worked on this some, and one thing he did do was put a battery in it and turn it over to make sure it wasn't stuck. I did turn it over by hand once when I went up and looked at it where it was sitting, and I was pretty sure it did move. I didn't turn it all the way over like a full rotation yet though. But he had done that, and one thing he had noted to me when I was talking to him the other day was he said it's got a gallop. And what I mean by a gallop is, you know, one hole has less oomph or compression than the other holes. So it turns over and it's like thump, 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 which I'm going to show you now. So I wanted to have you folks hear that before I start figuring out what that is, because we could just start this and maybe it will come out of it, but I don't know. I just would like to know which one it is before we get there, and who knows, it may just come out of it, like I said, if it got warmed up and everything. But I'm going to take a minute after this, pull all the plugs, look at them, because something I haven't mentioned is there's no exhaust after the manifolds on this. The exhaust manifold studs are all broken off and the Y pipe and everything's gone. Likely because someone sold cats out of it, the catalytic converters, because they're worth money. It's actually a big problem up here in the state. Well, I say big, it comes and goes. People going around stealing cats out of people's cars. Maybe out hunting on some desolate road somewhere, out deer hunting, bird hunting, whatever, and you come back and hop in your pickup and you fire it up and it sounds like you're at the Indy 500. Well, more like maybe NASCAR, well, maybe local. Anyways, yeah, so you just, wow, you know, loud, no cats. Someone came up and cut your cats out with their little battery operated reciprocating saw. Some are pretty brazen, they do it parking lots right in town. But anyways, yeah, catalytic converters are worth some money, so they're missing out of this and all the studs are broken off. I was hoping to put the exhaust off from Brookie's on here because it's going to shake, so that we could actually hear the engine, because it's going to be wide open header, and I mean, it's like, there's like 2 inches between the rear cylinders and the opening. So it's going to be tough to hear it, how good it runs. It's just going to be full send. But anyways, even more reason for me to actually pull the plugs out and figure out which cylinder is the one that we may be concerned about. Plus I can see if there's any rust on there, and if I really feel like it, I can stick the bore scope in there and see what the cylinders themselves look like. I probably won't do that, but unless the compression test is really bad. But here it is. Anyways, here's the gallop. Let's hear it. So as you can hear, it's a da 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 da. So it sounds like there's one. It sounds like there's one cylinder that is not doing as much work as the others. Well, it's not doing much. Well, it's still pumping air, so I guess it's doing some work. The starter's making it do the work. But so that's what we're gonna go after. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through, and you're not gonna watch me do it because it's really boring. I'm gonna go through trying to get these spark plug wires unstuck off from these plugs. Hasn't been touched in at least 10 years. Likely more, and get the plugs out and do a compression test on all the holes real quick, find out which hole's low, and then determine what to do next. I probably will do a leak down test on that one cylinder and figure out, is it the rings or is it the valve, or the valves, intake or exhaust, because we could have a lifter that's hung up. We could have a rusty seat because the valve's been hung open where it's sat with valve, on whatever stroke it's on, and the manifolds are open to atmosphere. And this thing's been sitting outside for 10 years in Maine's climate with going from 105 degrees or more in some cases to negative 30 degrees with humidity. Relative humidity changes from 10% to 100%. So it is likely moisture has gotten in there and rust has happened. But if we're lucky, it's not that bad and everything will be fine. So I'm gonna get stuck in, take the plugs out and everything. They're actually kind of a pain to get out because fortunately this thing hasn't been messed around with that much. I mean, it has all the little factory cable organization bits that go on the studs for the valve covers and stuff, which I like that because that tells me that someone probably cared about this or they never touched it. But it's got 140,000, I mentioned that yet. It's got 140,000 miles on it. And someone's had to have touched it. So that's pretty good. Everything seems kind of, like it should be. It hasn't got, red wires from everything gone by the crow flies over here to fix blower motors that don't run or whatever, or broken clips and this and that, which is, it's promising. But all right, I'll get stuck in and get plugs out of it, and we'll catch up back up when we're testing it for compression. All right, so these are the plugs that, let's see, hopefully it'll focus on that. These are plugs that came out. This wet guy here, that came out of the front cylinder, and then the second, and then the third on the driver's side. And then on the passenger side, we had the same thing. So the same thing, the front cylinder here is wet, and then these two dry ones, and then in the second and the third, or from front to back. Talking to Grant, though, he actually mentioned that he sprayed some penetrating oil into the throttle body the other day when he was fooling around with this, which it makes sense now that the two front ones are wet, because I would think the two front cylinders, in these two intake runners in the plenum. Get you around here. These two go over to the front cylinders. They probably sucked up that penetrating oil and it went down in the cylinders. So I'm gonna guess and say that wetness is from that. I could be wrong. Could be just coincidental. And then, but they do look okay. I mean, they definitely need some help, but they are pretty consistent. They are actually Motorcraft Platinums. But Hardtown, we're gonna find out. We're gonna do a compression test on each one now and see what happens. All right, let's try that.
Here it comes.
Yep. It's 120 on that one.
That's pretty good.
Leaks down fairly quickly, but who knows if that's, you know.
It could be the dirty hole in the gasket on the.
Yeah, it could just be that.
Yeah. About 120 after sitting for a while, not being run, I would say that's not bad.
No.
If they're all about the same,
Well, there's definitely one that has a problem.
be nice something for nothing, then it ends up turning out to be good.
$200 to get it here.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Well, what it's worth. Ready?
Yep. Yep. Ooh, that one was 150.
I wouldn't base that, you know.
Well, I mean, it's still the difference. Like
Oh, yeah.
30 pounds is gonna make it gallop. Yeah.
All depends on.
Ooh, I forgot to take the pressure off.
All depends on where you want to go with it. Ready?
Yep. That one only has 85.
What we probably should
You
do
could-
is put the battery charger on because it's turning slower.
Yep. Well, let's just hold off till we finish this real quick. Not to mention, open with no exhaust on this, you're not going to hear anything. So
So you got to kind of rely on the compression and the leak down.
yeah, knowing which ones are,
Which is unfortunate.
because then we can also do a compression test after it runs for a while and be like, oh, that one came out of it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
to know if any efforts that we make actually do something.
Well, the good thing is that it's got antifreeze in it, coolant, oil, so we can run it for a little while.
Yep.
Probably smoke like crazy, but ready?
Go for it. Yeah. That one made 165. But those ones were wet, that one was wet, so I wonder if that
I
one.
didn't spray much in there, and I don't even know if it even made it all the way down through.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe the front cylinders, but if that one had fluid in the cylinder, of course the rings would seal better, instead of being dry.
Oh, should I write this down or?
It's on video,
Oh yeah,
but we could.
but you'll have to play it back.
It's all right.
What is it? 120, 150,
85. Let me get a marker.
You decide on which.
All right, so we got the holes, we got 120, we got 150, and we got 85.
Here we go.
And then over here we got the holes. We had 165 on that first one.
Yeah, that's almost double. That is double the
Yeah.
back hole over here.
Yeah, that's significant. Oil pan doesn't look like it's rotted off it, which is surprising.
Yeah.
And I realized these studs on I was doing, talking earlier to the folks watching, and I was mentioning how there was no exhaust on it. And I got saying, yeah, likely the exhaust is taken off because of the cats and sold. And just now looking in there, I realized those studs aren't rotted off. They were sawzalled off. Yeah, so,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Somebody snuck up behind the town office and.
Or they did it. They're like, we got money sitting out back. Who knows? All right, let's see that one. That's a dead hole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a completely dead hole.
Oh,
Do it again.
oh.
No, that time it held.
Hell.
Yeah, that time it made some compression. Do it one more time. Yeah, it made 80. The first time though, it was like all nothing, all nothing, all nothing. It's a sticky.
But there's something else too. If there's any stuff in those cylinders,
Yeah.
it's going to get pushed into the dill valve.
Yeah, sure.
And then the dill valve's not going to close.
Or it's a sticky valve.
Right, that's, yes.
Yeah, sticky valve.
Thinking, that may be the problem with some of these other
Yeah,
ones.
it may just be sticky valves, which that right there makes me think that that's probably what we have. It's just,
It's hanging up and up.
it's just because it's been sitting.
Let's hope it is.
Yeah.
Leak down test will give you that anyway. A little bit of runtime. I mean, how long has this thing been set?
10 years.
What?
Yeah, it's been sitting out there 10 years.
Holy cat's farce, no wonder.
I'm almost wondering if it's even worth the leak down. I think it's just, seeing that right there where it was nothing and then came right back,
Yeah.
I kind of think it's just,
Just get this thing running and,
I put a quart of transmission fluid in it and just to try that.
yeah.
And just run it with the oil that's in it. I don't even care.
Yeah, if you're gonna contaminate oil, might as well be the old stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't write that down. So that was 85 on that one.
So that's not too far out of whack. I mean, at least it's there.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's
Right.
All right, go. That one's also 80. So the gallop, interestingly enough, is probably the two good cylinders. It's not the low cylinders.
Yeah.
So you're actually hearing that higher compression
Compression out
hole.
of those two.
Yeah. All right.
That was the back one.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at it, the two front ones are the highest. And
Yeah.
they progressively get worse going to the back.
Yes.
They're at 120.
Well, the back ones, of course, are also closer to the open hole in the exhaust.
Right, that's where
Yeah.
I was going with that.
Yeah, and then probably luck of the draw, these two backs, which are 85 here,
Yeah,
were open, a valve open,
yeah,
and that one valve open too, which if we stopped and thought about the firing order,
it makes perfect,
yeah, if we stopped and thought about the firing order, I bet you these back three had a valve open, whether it be
Yeah.
intake or exhaust.
yeah. And I think the idea of the exhaust being open and those valves in the back being first in line,
Yep.
getting the moisture.
Yep.
I mean, that's just, what did you call it? The last time?
What?
About researching?
I don't know.
It was when we first took Brooke's other engine apart. What did we call it?
Oh, the automotive autopsy?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an
basically what,
yeah.
yeah, same thing. I did blow this all off.
But the thing of it is though, is now that we do know that though, it makes me feel better
Yeah,
about, yeah, it's probably just from setting,
you
especially seeing that one go up and down.
Yeah.
It's probably just sticky
yeah,
and it's probably nothing, you know, crazy.
it's just common sense stuff. I even lubricated this because this was hung up.
Yeah, it's just.
10 years, holy
10
cow,
years.
I didn't think it was that long.
At least 10 years, because John said he has seen it out there for at least, like he, you know, knows it's been out there for at least
Yeah.
10 years.
So,
And then before it got there, he has no idea.
yeah.
All right, so Gramp and I went through, we did the compression test on all the cylinders and we found varying results. So we got everywhere from 80 to, wow, this thing actually does bounce on the,
It's on the jack stand.
I know, yeah.
Just balance.
jack stands are like in the middle of the truck, so the front, it's a teeter-totter right now, which is all right, I'm not under it yet. So everything from 165 down to 80. But something that kind of cued us in on, probably it's just from setting, is that one of the cylinders on the passenger side the middle cylinder, which is close to the open exhaust on the manifolds. It was actually some compression, no compression, some compression, no compression. We stopped, did it again, and then it made 80, which makes me think we just got some sticky valves and lifters from this thing sitting, and that's probably it, likely, and that's what we're hoping for. So, and the 3 cylinders that are in the 80s are right near the exhaust, and then the better cylinders are towards the front. And given what stroke it was on and what firing order where it left, it kind of makes sense. So we're not going to bother with the leak down test right now. We're just going to go into trying to get it running, because we're probably going to try to get it running regardless of what the leak down test says. So we'll go for that, and then we're going to try the transmission fluid in the oil trick. I've read things that say it doesn't work. I've read things that say it does work. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on Roadkill, Engine Masters, and some other stuff. We're going to give it a shot, and it's not going to hurt anything anyways. Just going to add it to the oil that's in it, which is it's up and it's black, but I mean, it's still oil. But now we gotta get a fuel system that is not full of gunk. So we're gonna take that opportunity to take Brookie's fuel tank and get that rehab. So it's all ready to go in her truck, and we'll just drop fuel tank out of this and connect the lines up to our good fuel tank, and to get good fuel to it. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna get the fuel pump and filter swapped out in her tank, get the new one, because we got a new fuel pump and filter that we got from Rock Auto. Whoops, I just kicked the camera, that's great. Ordered from some time ago, and some other stuff. And we also have some spark plugs already that were for hers that we're gonna throw on it too. And we're gonna put some fuel to it and see what happens. Actually, probably we'll check spark right now. Would be a good idea before we get stuck in too much else. Because we got all the plugs out and wires off, so we can see if we've got ignition now, instead of finding it out later after a bunch of work. So that's what we're gonna do next. And Gramps helping me now. We started off, it was just me, but Gramps puttering with me now because his other project didn't work out for him today. So, and Brookie will be here later. She's doing something with mom and the little one, with some family, and she'll be back in later. Maybe she'll show up just in time for us to try to start this thing, or maybe we'll get that done before then. I don't know.
Yeah,
but we'll get going.
Yeah, the other thing was there's some wires unplugged, and I did get the wire plugged in that allowed it to turn over, because it wouldn't turn over.
Yeah, there are. I have found a couple too, and there's some vacuum lines and stuff, but we're gonna look around. I think there's been things that have been borrowed off this, and just hopefully not the things that we need to get it to run, but we'll find out. All right, so one of the first things is just getting set up to check for spark. So what we did is we got all the spark plug wires out, and then we just put a good known plug. This is actually a new plug that we already have ready to put into Brookie's Ranger, and we just set up a ground strap or a ground lead over to the battery, just to alleviate any grounding issues we might have trying to tag on to like the alternator, which is typically where we go. And so the ignition key is on, and then I've got my homemade. I have one of these that's actually like legitimate, but I've got a homemade one. It's a Cole Hersey push button switch, a little bit of hose, and you can see the wire connectors down there, and I braided it, and of course that goes under, and I can't show you, but it's on the starter. So I can hit this, and it turns over. I would suggest making one of these or buying one of these. It's really handy, but if you look closely, we have no spark, so we're dead spark there. So then we just start going through, okay, why is no spark? So we looked all over. There are some wires that are unplugged and cut, like we talked about before, or unplugged. I don't know if we talked about, the ones that are cut, but over here on the passenger side, there's definitely one that's unplugged, and on the passenger side, there's a group of 4 wires that are cut. Well, when I got thinking about it, and when I was explaining how these exhaust manifolds are open earlier, that the catalytic converters were likely sold out of this vehicle, stolen, sold by the people who had it, who knows. But when they did it, they actually shortcutted, nipped off those the O2 sensor wires on the driver's side to make it quicker, likely. And I'm trying to think, I really don't think that has to do with spark, because I mean, this will run without O2 sensors. It will run if they're bad. I really think, even because when the engine first starts and it's in open loop, it's not closed loop, it's not using feedback from the O2 sensors. And I wouldn't see why Ford would use the O2 sensor circuit as a critical circuit in order for the thing to run at all. Because I do believe, even if they're bad or unplugged, this should still run. It may not run great, but it should be running on a fuel and ignition map that is just like speed density would. It is a base map that this thing should run okay on. There's probably limits to it. But anyways, I digress. Those are unhooked. I don't think that's it. So then next thing is, immediately you think it's coil bad. Well, I actually had another coil. So this is a coil that came out of the Ford Explorer that we have, which has the 4-liter, which the coil does look different because the plug is out of the side on this one and it's vertical on this one, but all the wiring is the same. It's the same plug, same layout, same spark plug layout. So, this is something that you would think of first. So what we did was they actually plugged this one in, grounded it off from these corners because it's actually metal under there, grounded it to the same place, grounded the plug, took one wire off, put it on there, put the spark plug in, nothing. Same thing, not an issue. Okay, so likely not a coil. Okay, well, luckily we had the coil to try to check that. So the next thing is, all right, well, what gives it signal? So this is distributor-less Ford ignition. That's why coil pack, of course. So this has a cam position sensor, which goes in the distributor hole. Probably can't see, it's too dark, but right about down there. And that's back there. And this also has a crank position sensor. So I knew that they were all plugged in place. I unplugged them and plugged them back in just to see if there was, I don't know, maybe we could jiggle the wires. Who knows? This thing's been sitting a while. It's off the road for a reason. It's really rusty. It was really rusty when this got taken off the road too. So I assumed it was the rust, not the engine in this case, but that's just a guess. I don't actually know. So then, being OBD2 car, obviously we have an OBD2 port, so we could look up any of the DTCs, the diagnostic codes, and there was also a theft light blinking on the dash that I wondered if it was the immobilizer was active. So we did some Googling. We figured out, no, the sequence at the theft light on the dash was normal. I think it's the PATS. The PATS or the GEM, I don't know. It's alphabet soup in this thing as far as the acronyms for each of the different control modules. More than just a PCM and an ABS module. But anyways, we figured out that probably wasn't it. Wasn't likely. So I didn't have any of my OBD2 stuff here. I actually had the OBDX link cable here out in the shop truck because I left it there because that was what I thought was going to be my next project as far as needing that. And I've used it on the Explorer before that for doing ABS. Now, I also have a regular OTC OBD2 scan tool, which is woefully out of date. It would be fine for this vehicle. It would be up to date for this vehicle, but I haven't updated it for a very long time. And I don't know if it's even updatable anymore. But it's useful enough just to pull codes still. But I more recently, when I was having issues with the Explorer's ABS, didn't have any ABS. I didn't have any functionality to actuate the ABS to bleed them because I had issues with some front calipers on that. So I started looking all over the internet for an affordable option, something that was well supported or received by the DIY-ish community, let's say, and Forscan was what I came across, and it's actually a pretty neat product. You pay for it, but it's supported by this community online that helps add to it and build it out and stuff. I'll put a link or show that to you now. But so I ran back to the house because we're at Gramps, and that was at our house. I ran back to the house to get the computer that has the software on it. And I thought actually the OBDX link tool was there, so I looked around for that. I grabbed it, and this would be the packaging for the OBD links. This is the one that they recommend for using the Forscan. And I grabbed my OTC scan tool because I wasn't sure if I was going to find the adapter or not. Hold on, you can't see what I'm doing. So I went and grabbed, this is the scan tool I've had, the 3111. I've had this for years. I've used this a ton. I actually do have the OBD1 Ford scan tool I used to use on the F-150, which we may have to use on Brookie's Ranger. I actually almost got rid of this when I got rid of that Ford. I was like, I'm never going to work on that vintage Ford again. Funny guy, we're doing it again. So we might use that then. But we have got the laptop in here. It's going to be dark until I get the screen on, likely. Okay, so here's I'll blow this up. Here's the software. So after I got it connected, then I went down through. So this is in the read PID data section, and this is just like working on Gramps' land speed car. Actually, when we're figuring out what channels to data log. And so what we're able to do is here's dashboard, oscilloscope. So here we can actually graph, and you can see this is a scope from when I was testing. And then we have a table of each of the things. So what we can actually do is we can go down to the setup all gauges, and we can go in this list, and we can actually go down through the list, pick something out, pick a sensor or a circuit out that we want to log, and then we can move it over to the PID list. We can check, and now we can see that I've added, we've added the coolant temperature sensor. Of course, it's in Celsius, but nonetheless. And so now since I've added something, it's reset all the scopes. So if we turn this on, we can see there's a whole bunch of flatline, because everything's cold and the engine's not turning over. But now let's go ahead and turn it over. So you can see that the battery voltage was tanking. I'll stop this. So you have to stop recording. So we can see that we had some good voltage, and then as soon as I started cranking, it dove down, and then it came back up to a certain voltage, and it was steadily declining. And then when I stopped turning it over, it bounced back up, and it had less power than before because we used some of it to crank it over. Up here, this is our camshaft position sensor going high or low. So this is, this I believe only triggers once per rotation, not really sure. We can see we get a couple bumps, a pause, and a couple of bumps. What I found again, didn't make you go through all of this, but what I found when the voltage is low enough, down here we're like sub 10, we have a hard time getting a signal from the camshaft position sensor. Something that's notable is this PIP, which let's get the actual name for it. See if I can remember. Going down through, I was trying to find whatever would relate to the crank position, and I found this one where it's profile ignition pickup. I'm assuming this is like the skip in. I don't know if this is a 36-1 or something else, but I assume this is actually showing us that that skip from the crank position, or the missing tooth, if you will. That's the pickup for the ignition. And then the RPM is driven off from that crank position also, and I get no RPM signal. So that said to me, okay, so we have a voltage issue for some of the circuits, but I'm getting nothing even if I had good voltage. So I had the battery charger on it. We had lots of voltage. I still would get nothing for RPM or this PIP. And then there's no misfire or anything. I'm not sure if that misfire works unless, or the total number of misfires works unless the engine's running. I am not sure how that strategy is, and then here's the module supply voltage. So that's where we're looking at the voltage out. So what that brings us to is I said, okay, well, so crankshaft position sensor, that's got to be something. It's got to be an option here. Like I said, I did unplug it and plug it back in, but I had not actually inspected it closely at all. So I'll take you down under here, and we'll get the light so you can actually see probably. So I've already taken the sensor out. See if I can get this position so I can point too. So the sensor was mounted there. So you can see where I broke it off one. I got really lucky, and we used the torch on this one, and I was able to get it out. I'm getting stuff in my face. I was able to get this screw out of this one here. Now it's cracked too now, which is, bad. And this other one here, that one's actually disintegrated. So we're going to be really lucky to put anything back on there, but there's enough to hold something. So that sensor, and conveniently, we stopped where the skip tooth is. So that sensor is looking for all of these teeth on here, as it goes around, and then it looks for the open spot, and that's when it actually triggers to say, okay, that's 1 revolution, or that's whatever position on the crank fire, or lets the ECU know that that's the baseline, actually, if anything, timing mark. So I got it out, and I got really lucky. So before I even tried to take it out, actually, I went to excuse me, I gotta get up. Oh, I'm getting old. I went online. I went to O'Reilly's, and sure enough, they had one here in town. And so I then it's when I tried to take it out. Then I take it out, and I got really lucky. I got it out without completely breaking the timing cover, so I could hold another one on there, because it's awfully difficult to do anything if you can't. So hopefully you can see this. So this is the one that came out. Now, if you look down inside there, that is the pickup, and it's recessed a good 1/8 of an inch, and it's super rusty. Now, if we look at the new one, you can see that sensor is flush with this. Now, how these work is they need a certain gap and nothing more in order for them to be effective. Now, I can't remember if this is being 2-wire, if this is a Hall or a variable reluctance, but it needs to have a maximum gap in order for it to function. Now, if you put these right next to each other, see if you can get it. If you put these right next to each other, you can see there's a huge difference between them. So I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that this sensor is going to fix it. Now, I don't know yet. I haven't plugged it in and bolted it in yet, so we're going to figure this out together. I'm going to plug it in, and maybe I'll actually video, the first test or whatever. But I'm hoping this is it. And I'll tell you, this was $40. So the truck cost $200 to get it from where it was to here. And then this sensor alone, all by itself, was $40. Now I got $240 in this truck, and I'm hoping this is good, especially now that I know we have to change the timing cover on this thing. I kind of wondered if it was going to be nasty from salt and, the way the rest of this thing is rusty, have issues, stuff coming apart, breaking off. Now I do have to change the cover. Now, likely I just use the cover off of Brookie's engine now, but I'd like to be able to put that one together completely and not scavenge parts, but we'll see. But anyways, so I'm going to pause. I'm going to put this guy in, get it in there, and hope, cross my fingers that I can get it to hold in place well enough. And then I'll get back and I'll film the first test to see if we can get that signal on the computer. All right, so got the sensor in, and I went ahead and I did video it right off. I want to make sure I knew what it was first, because we're prioritizing actually getting this running today and doing a video for you folks too, but more into trying to get this thing running. But so what happened, I got the sensor in, and I go and turn the truck over, and I have the signal for the crank again. I've got the RPM signal and the PIP. The ignition trigger signal is back, but we still have no spark. And then Grant was standing here, and
Yeah, I was reaching over to reposition the spark plug and fix the ground wire we had on the tab on the bottom of it. And I felt heat, and it was the alternator was hot. So, and Forrest had said earlier that the battery was drawn down.
yeah, the battery is supposed to be a good battery, but I mean,
And it is.
out of the boat, yeah, it's good battery. And it was draining with no plugs in this thing. It was draining the battery really quick. And we're having low voltage issues, and I noticed that we lose the cam position sensor under a certain voltage. So yeah, Grant found the alternator was hot.
It was hot, so we unplugged it, and the thing fires.
Now it's got spark. So I spent my $40, like I had said.
I think you had to do that.
I don't see how that sensor was functioning, so it's not a bad thing. So anyways, we got some spark now, and now I'm gonna throw all the plugs back in it and get everything hooked up. Grant and I are also gonna oh, I gotta go get gas because I've left twice now and I didn't get gas, which was not very smart. But we're gonna rig up a fuel system. Likely we're just gonna take fuel pump and sending unit out of the tank, put it in a 5-gallon pail of gas. We're gonna also jump the fuel pump and let it recirc and try to pump what the bad gas is in the system into a different tank.
Yeah.
Somehow we'll rig something up and do that. I think we can just jump it and take the return hose and pee it off into something else.
Probably, I just wonder how much fuel is actually in the system right now. Probably pretty
Might have
much
evaporated, to be honest, yeah.
And the other thing is, hopefully no seals have been completely dried up. We're just hoping
we're just
the best.
gonna...
Even if it leaks, as long as it starts and runs.
We'll just
for a
make sure the
while.
fire extinguisher,
Yeah, which there's all over the
right,
place.
yeah, there we got it. We'll just make sure they're real handy, so.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you real quick. I will show you on the screen so you get to see that part about that signal is back and it's steady. I'll show you that, but then we're gonna get stuck in and get back together, and then we'll get back with you folks when we actually go to try to start this thing, which... Okay, so I just started the scope again to look at all the sensors. We can see our voltage is currently hovering at about 12 and temperature 16, I guess, C. I can't do that math in my head. I used to be able to, not anymore. Anyway, so let's crank it over. So you can see the battery's down still because I haven't charged it up again, but you can see we have RPM now, and we have crank signal, and we have our camshaft position signal. So these here, that means spark, because before, with the alternator plugged in, I didn't have this RPM signal. I had a crank signal, I had a cam signal, but I didn't have an RPM signal, which I'm assuming is why we had no coil. Let me stop this. There, I stopped the thing. So we're going to charge battery. I'll get it stuck back together, but I wanted to show you that so you could actually see what I was looking for compared to what I had before. So that's it. And then, let's get to it. If this thing ran today, it would make it we'd feel pretty good about it.
And ran good, and then once it runs for a while, redo the compression and I'll leave down and see what it looks like.
And I think I still, I'll throw a quart of transmission fluid in it, just for posterity. And hey, why don't you leave comments if you've ever done that and you think it worked, and it's worked for you or hasn't, or you think it's worth doing or not. We're gonna try it. I've never done it before. You've never done it before.
All I've heard is people put a bunch of diesel fuel through an engine and
fuel,
run it just for a minute, and that's it.
Just to clean
But the trouble is that you have pockets of diesel fuel in all the little valleys and stuff, especially up in the top side of the head.
Which I did read that there is a lot of desludging stuff that is mostly diesel fuel and can be bad.
Yeah,
but at least
worry about bearings. I mean,
right. At least with the transmission fluid, it makes sense. It has some viscosity to it, but I don't know. We're gonna try it out though. We'll see. All right. All right. So went to the store, got some gas. While I was gone, Grant beat the snot out of everything that was rusty back there. Had a great time. He was swearing when I came back, and because this thing is quite rusty and not fun. So got the fuel tank out. I'm going to take you around, grab another camera, I'll take you around and show you what we have rigged up. It's kind of sketchy, especially considering it has no exhaust on manifolds, so those likely will shoot sparks and flames and stuff, and that will be headed right towards our open bath fuel system, I'll call it. Excuse me, sorry about that. The other thing, so I got all the plugs back in it, and the next thing would be, I want to get rid of the fuel. Oh, we figured out this is a deadhead fuel system. This does not have a return line. So I was thinking we wouldn't have a chance to really bleed the fuel off without messing around. But this actually has a deadhead system, so it does not return to the fuel tank. So I hooked up my fuel rail, my pressure gauge for that, which has a little bypass hose here. It's going into the old fuel tank down on the floor. And we're gonna just bump the key, and I'm gonna try to flush out all the old gas that may be in there so we get some fresh stuff right to start with. Other than that, that's pretty much, that's the setup. We've got fire extinguishers on every corner, and it's gonna be loud. So yeah, so I'll take you around, I'll show you the setup, and then we'll give it a shot. And then one of us will be fire watch and the other one will be turning the key.
The world headquarters, hopefully it won't work.
Or we could, actually, we could go with,
Just go and get her done.
well, no, I was saying we could go with key on and then bump it from out here so you don't have to be inside, you could be watching.
No, it's okay.
And we could use that thing, and then if we have to kill it, we just
Yeah.
pull the,
Should I fill the temporary fuel tank?
yeah, I'll go around, I'll get video
Okay.
of you doing that. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so yeah, Graham got the fuel tank out of here, and this is the setup. So we've got a 5-gallon pail sitting on a block of wood with the fuel pump sending unit in it, and we're gonna put enough gas to cover up the screen and the sock. We've got mud flat firewall set up to keep sparks from going right at the bucket here, and then this thing is rusty. I mean, like, this is the filler neck that was in there. You can see the floor through it. It's you can see the cross member is missing. The rear differential has a rusted hole. You can see the actual ring and pinion, the spider gears in there. This thing is bad. So, but yeah, so Graham's gonna put some fuel in it, and we'll cover up the sock, and we'll hope for the best.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have to come up too high.
No, just gotta cover up the sock.
I mean, it only needs about 4 inches maybe. I'm assuming the sock,
Yeah, as long as you cover up the sock, we're good. Yeah. And I probably wouldn't put any more than that. I'm probably good for now. Yeah.
Well, we'll find out when we energize.
Yeah, we'll find out pretty much soon. Okay, so there's that. We got fire extinguisher on this corner for whoever's driver's side. And we've got another fire extinguisher over here in the middle of the floor on passenger side, ready to be grabbed. We also have this piece of plywood jacked up under here because the exhaust manifold should shoot stuff down at the floor. That should shoot it off to the sides, hopefully. Here's the fuel tank sitting on the floor that we're gonna use the tester, which is plugged into the fuel rail down there, and then it's got the little bypass button right here, so we can turn the key on and hopefully bypass some fuel, which actually we could try that right now if you wanted. Just bump the key on and it should. You ready? Yep. Yep. You have to go on and off a few times.
I heard it.
Yep, keep going.
Why is this thing on?
Yep, keep going. So you can see the fuel is coming out through there. Headed down to our fuel tank.
Well, wasn't there a ding dong in here? I could hear the fuel pump, but
Yep, go again.
it's had a hard life, and
It has.
It just does not want to. Everything doesn't want to function.
No. All right, one more time. Builds all the fuel pressure.
A lot of air in this building.
Yeah. Yeah, being a deadhead system, until the injector is open to bleed
Right.
the air,
Right.
yeah, it's just.
Yeah. Well, if it's bled all the air out before the injectors or to the injector rail or the rail, fuel rail, at least it won't have to turn over and.
It seems like maybe there's like a little Venturi creating the air bubbles, because if I. No, I don't know.
Are we getting air out back out here?
That might be it. Let's go
Let's put a
look.
little
Yeah,
more fuel
let's put a little more fuel on it. Yeah.
I think we're picking it. Yeah, that should have cleared that quite fast.
Yeah, I think we got clean fuel in it now, so just as long as we get the air out, then we should be fine.
Yeah,
Put a little more fuel on it, I guess.
we've used actually quite a bit. Fill that line.
All right, let's try that.
Yeah, we don't want any more than we need.
Yeah, no more than we need. All right, so now that we got that all set, I think it's probably time to actually try to fire it up. So we're gonna switch to the other camera, stationary camera, because I don't want to be holding this while trying to do that. Because if we have to run, then I want to be able to run. Yeah, so we'll switch cameras.
Oh yeah, throttle.
Yeah, this throttle.
I sprayed that down, so.
All right, so we got everything set up. We think we're gonna be good. I'm gonna put this closer to me than I thought. Okay, good. Key is on.
Keys off.
Keys off.
We're gonna turn it on when you're ready.
All right, let's turn it on. Oh, I didn't put any transmission fluid in.
What?
I forgot.
Do you still want them? Oh, I think I got a partial.
I have some too. Yeah.
No, I think I got a partial stuff that I don't want to use in
Okay,
anything.
let's do that.
And get that off the shelf anyway.
All right, so we got the finest of Valvoline partial Mercron 5s. We're gonna put it in there for science.
Made for a Ford.
I'm not gonna drain anything out of it either because I just don't feel like it. And it will be fine.
I don't think it'll hurt it.
I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. All right, here we go. We're gonna drink it up. I meant to get some seafoam
Don't
too.
put it in the all over so it gets on the exhaust. You want to have control of the smoke.
Probably gonna have to go pee before we leave. Never fails. You get excited, gotta go. All right, so that's in there. I'll be right back.
I want to watch the oil pressure if it starts. Good. Didn't have the key quite all the way on.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be loud.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to go so it actually turned it over.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We oil pressure come out?
do it again. Yeah, you got oil pressure, so.
Okay, it's flames. It's coming out. Yeah.
We got
It's
flames.
gonna be flaming. Yeah. Want to make sure I can get this guy. Well, I mean,
I'll keep an eye on stuff back here. Yeah, you got the throttle right there too.
yeah.
just got to the point temperature-wise.
Or ran out of fuel.
Oh yeah, that could be too.
I'd like to run it until it warms all the way up. Fuel is up over the pump. Oh, I probably should have left that fuel pressure gauge on there so we knew. I'm gonna hook fuel pressure gauge back up. I was thinking that would have popped up by now. Oh yeah. Should have gone right up. Tries to go closed loop and it can't fuel it right.
Yeah. Yeah. So the O2 sensor.
I wonder if we've got one sensor we could at least plug it in.
So yeah, we went hunting for the exhaust. We found the exhaust out of Brookie's Ranger. It had 4-wire O2 sensors. It looked really promising, but the plugs are like almost the same. Excuse me. The little alignment things are in the wrong spot, so I don't know. So we're just trying to get it warm enough that maybe the thermostat opens, everything gets warm, so then we can go back through and do a pressure test, get the oil moving around, get that transmission fluid that's just going to solve all of our problems. Maybe. Moved around in the engine a bit, get everything hot, so maybe the sticky valve or lifter or rings or whatever comes out of it. Obviously we're not able to, well at this point we're not able to actually rev on it or anything because it just wants to die. And it's likely just because the O2 sensors are missing. And the ForeScan software says, yes, you are missing things in order to run. But we're just gonna run a little bit more. So it sounds awesome right now. It's like it's got a big cam and it's poorly tuned. But here we go. Died. I wonder, I'm gonna go out on a limb. How many sensors can I unplug before it goes into limp mode and runs right? Is that even a thing? Let's unplug the mass airflow sensor and see if it just goes on coolant temperature, RPM. I'd say that's a no. Have an air bypass issue too. Yeah, they could actually be how it's trying to run it right now.
Yep. That's the air bypass right there.
Let's unplug that too. Why not?
I don't know.
Let's just unplug stuff until it runs.
That was fine. Hopefully it's not fueling a cylinder that's not firing.
The oil main is backfired. Let's plug this stuff back in and just see if I just made it worse. I was just hoping if I unplugged enough stuff it'd go into limp mode. Yep. Probably just run
run right again, or well, run like it was. Is that a big fireball?
Yeah, it was right there. Oh yeah. That's a big fireball. It's fueling up on it. Loading up with fuel and then...
Okay.
It's loading up with fuel and then...
I think that's probably, it actually, so the thermostat opened.
Yeah. It created an afterburner.
Yeah. Battery might be low now too.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're not charging and I'm sure it's drawing pretty good. Well, say that, well, fuel pump pulls quite a bit of voltage, so.
So I guess at this point we could probably pull the plugs and
Want to try that again?
do a compression test.
Yeah, do that again.
And just see if it got any better. Because if it didn't, then we have to make some do we haul this out or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's go for that. You got the
Yep.
socket and stuff over there and everything.
Yeah, we got all that. If we got that unplugged, so yeah,
Yep.
let's go ahead. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go now. It's got up to full temperature, and we're just gonna pull the plugs and check compression in all holes again. See if we had any kind of improvement. If there is some it runs like crap, but it's got no
Well, that's
exhaust.
understandably so.
Yeah, it's got no exhaust, and the O2 sensors don't exist, so it's trying to run itself on no information. Well, some, but not enough, I guess. And so it's hard to tell if it's gotten better or not at this point. So we'll check with the compression test because we already did it. We wrote it on the windshield, so now we know. And if we're getting better, then it may be promising enough that we will yank this engine out and stick it in Brookie's truck. Or if it didn't change or got worse, then we'll have to really make some decisions. So, all right, we'll get back to you after we go through and check everything. Oh, I'm gonna be a microphone. Give you a microphone.
Improverated. I think it improved.
All right, so here's the deal. We're taking bets. This is the worst hole. This one was 80. So we put it in that one first because that's the one we care about. Now let's see. Gramp says it's gonna be better.
That's the back one, right?
Yes, it's the
Okay.
it's the back. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How Ford does it.
I'm just right and left.
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna say it's 100 pounds now. What are you gonna say? Come on, you pick a number.
It's going to improve. 110.
110. All right, ready? How about 150? Primavera. 150. So that's good. We gained
Very
70
good.
pounds back.
Yeah. Just dried up. 10
Yeah.
years of sitting is just.
All right, see how quickly I can switch this.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
It'll come down to whether or not we want to do a leak down test also.
Yeah, or do we just
Go for it.
go for it because we don't really have much of a choice right now, other than buying an unknown on eBay.
Yeah,
Which is
and I
mo-
think this is if all these compression, all the compression tests come out okay,
Yeah.
I'd say we would be further ahead than buying an unknown on eBay.
Well, so the eBay ones are supposed to be, or they are warranted,
Yeah,
but that still means we order it. We have to wait for freight. It has to get here, and we won't know until we put it in the truck.
that's the right.
And we got 240 bucks in this one so far. So it's kind of like we should. So this one was 85 before. That's 150.
Holy cats.
And it's holding too. And the
Okay.
other one was holding.
This was 85.
This was 85 before, now it's
What was the back one? 80?
80. Yeah, now they're both $150 and hold.
That's good.
Yeah. Which the leak down, that is our leak down right there. Well, it's somewhat of a leak down because it holds sitting there. It doesn't tell you what the percentage leak down is, but we know.
The thing is, though, the dill valve is going to hold it.
Oh shoot! I forget. Yes,
Right.
you're right.
This
You're
is
right.
not the leak down.
You're right. I forget.
Dill valve is
every
gonna hold
time.
it,
I don't
yeah.
know how many times I do that.
That was the mistake when I.
Yeah, when we. Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah.
let Mark use.
Yeah, Mark Mayberry in his
Forgot-
car. This
forgot
thing
to
is
tell him.
mint.
Yeah, that's mint.
This thing is
Take the
great.
dill valve out.
Look at this guy. Wow.
That's the thing about using that for dual purpose. Front one,
This one was $165.
65.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
All right. I don't know what just happened.
Oh, you got crap in the dill valve. You got
Oh, down below.
right.
That's what happened on the other one.
That's what. Yeah, that's when you're dealing with an engine. It's got a lot of crap, where it's been sitting.
Yeah.
You can get something lodged in it, and it won't flush it through because it's a dead head. It's only going to go just so far.
So earlier when I saw that fluctuation, that was nothing probably.
Hey, one thing you can do is just by taking the gauge off,
Yeah.
turn the engine over, it'll blow it through.
Oh, okay.
Let it blow it through and then try it
Yeah.
again. That way there you don't have to take it out. It's just save you a little time. Because whatever's in there can't be too big. It's some of the, you look at the plugs, they're really sooty.
Yeah.
Stuff like that will plug that thing up. Yeah, now try it and see what happens.
Same
No,
thing.
still got something in it then.
Well, that's.
Here, hand it to me and I'll take it back over here and take the dill valve out. I got the
Okay.
tool in the box there.
I'm gonna pause you for a second while we fix this unit. All right.
Let me see the other piece too. Let me see the gauge also.
Yeah.
While you're putting it back in.
All right, Gramps. He's blowing these out. Hopefully, fixing them. I don't know why I just stuck my mouth on that, but I felt compelled.
Yeah, I put air pressure to 80 pounds and it held.
Yeah.
Didn't blow through. Never know the gauge too, because the gauge, it would be nice if it was liquid filled,
Yeah.
because you take that and it bounces constantly. This is,
There
I
we
don't
go.
think, a real expensive gauge.
No,
I had that for something.
I don't think my. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say the Ashcroft because usually it's OEM or OTC or
Yeah.
whatever. All right, let's hope for the best. There we go. That one's $155.
Oh, it went down, but in a good way.
Yeah. Well, those. So the front cylinder had liquid in it.
Yeah, that's right.
It was wet, so that's likely why.
The thing is, right now, you only got a 5 pound difference from out of the three.
Which
of
is
them,
what we
so-
want, because that in that case that's only 5. It's less than 5%. It's like
Way less than
3% or 2% at this point, which is good.
2.5%.
Yeah.
Because 2% would be 3 pounds. So
Yeah.
it would be about 2.5%,
Yeah.
roughly.
2.5, 3%. We'll call it. Yeah.
And the
All right.
Isn't it? This looks like a button that I'm familiar with.
So yeah, it's coerce. So this one was $120. Let's see.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yep. Wait a second. We've got. I can hear that leaking. Do that again. We're leaking somewhere. Again. So it's doing 110, and I can't tell. How would I tell?
You think it's leaking down at the plug?
I'm not sure. It's just, well, also I got the other plugs right here too, which
Is that the front one or the back one?
it's the front one.
Oh yeah, okay.
Let's try it again real quick. 115, so it's not far off from what it was. Which that's, 35. So that's like 15%, 20%.
Okay.
It's like 20% off.
Let's
Yep.
check the other ones and see where
Yep.
they are. Come back to that one.
All right, and go for it. Okay. Gee whiz, that one's 165. That one was 150 before.
Okay, so we have come up.
Yeah.
That's good. If you only got one, yeah, we'll go back to that one when you're done getting the last one there.
Yeah.
That was the 85 one. But
We could always spray some sauce in it too and be able to tell if
See
it were
if
the
it's a ring or
rings right
whatever,
off.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not worried. Yeah, 250 bucks. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I broke a spark plug off. It's
Oh,
well,
no,
so that
there's
was
another
40. It was $41. $41 for the sensor, and it was
Broken spark plug.
207 for the tow. So 248, 250 right there. That plug. All right, go see it. Yep. It's 140.
Wow.
So, which is more compression, but yes, this has the higher compression engine. So I would say, let me squirt some sauce in that one
Yep.
hole, and then let's just try that. And
Yep, I think
if anything, maybe the sauce being in the hole, sitting for a while, will help it out. Who knows?
Put it in, try it.
Yeah.
And it could be just that one, so may need more run time. You don't
Yeah.
know. It's in the front, so the exhaust
I'm gonna hope for it just needs a little more.
exhaust
runtime.
manifold being open back didn't get to that one, so to speak. But
Sauce.
still, what do you want?
Oh, I'm just gonna get penetrating oil.
I think so far, pretty good.
Yeah. Now I did this earlier.
Yeah, because you can't spray up down with those cans.
No, I stuck the can down in there somehow. As soon as you get it in there and get the nozzle like in the hole, then it flies off.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got some sauce in it now.
The thing is, though, it was at 120 and it's at 115, so it hasn't changed a great deal.
No, it hasn't changed a great
But the
deal.
other ones, of course, have changed a great
They've
deal.
come out of whatever it is, yeah.
Except for center left and front rear right. But they look good. I mean, I like them.
Then one of the other things is it was so loud, it's hard to tell if it knocked or not. If it knocked bad enough, we would have heard it,
I
but
want to turn it over with that stuff in there.
well, it's gonna spray everywhere
I know.
right now.
I know. Put a rag down there or something. And,
Well, I was gonna put this on it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and then, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just go for that. And
Okay, hit me up. Yeah, it was 128.
okay.
And then we'll run it again, I think, just for giggles. Just cycling that fluid around in there. Hit it again.
Oh.
Yep. 130 that time.
Give the battery a chance to build up. I mean, I wouldn't be too afraid of that.
No,
I think it's a usable engine.
I think it's worth pulling.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think we will just take a Sawzall to the core support and pull it out the front.
I think so too.
And not even worry about like putting it on the lift or anything. We'll just Because all we got to really get out is the bell housing bolts and the motor mounts from underneath, and we will.
We could bring it out and put it up on with the
We'll
tractor.
go out the front with it. All right, so it's better, and we've already been jibber jabbering about it, but I think we're gonna pull this guy, this little feller, out of here, and we're gonna use the long block for Brookie's Ranger. And I say long block because nothing you see on top here works in her truck. The accessory drives and brackets and stuff, maybe, but this intake manifold, different. Coil, different. Distributor, like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's different. This is a completely different animal in that respect, but long block, we'll use that. That way there, we got all the parts, you can't see, it's over here. We'll just dress this engine with all the bits that makes it work in Brookie's truck, including, some of the maintenance parts that we got, like the water pump. We're gonna have to put the timing cover off from hers on here. I'm gonna try to find one, maybe NOS, like what is it? Spark surplus motors or something in place on eBay. I use out of Texas. If you can find a lot of good Ford NOS parts. So we'll have to, strip this down, long block, get all the stuff off her engine that is particular to her truck, put on here, so we can start doing that. And we're just going to hold off on the other engine rebuild for now, but we will build it, and now we'll probably spend a little bit more time trying to get more out of it, and then likely that won't happen until next year. So we'll go run the snot out of this engine this year.
Get her by.
Yeah, get her by, and Gramps just out of frame. If you peek in a little bit, you lean in this way.
Oh.
This way. All the way in.
I can't make
Oh, there he is. We got him now. He's in the corner. We turn it a little bit.
Hey, I'm still here.
Wow, there's
my own
Grant.
garage.
There's Grant. Yeah, so there we are. We're both in frame now. Yeah, so we'll run the snot out of this engine, and this is actually pretty cool though for me, because I like to do things kind of scientifically, and the last thing we're going to do, we're going to rebuild the engine we have because we couldn't find a parts vehicle. Didn't feel good about buying one on eBay, even though we probably should have. And we got this anyways, and I felt bad about modifying the engine we're going to put in this, putting it on the dyno, and not knowing what a stock one actually made.
Yeah.
And or going up to Loring, disabling the vehicle, the governor, and just seeing what a stock engine can do. So then we actually really know what we did when we modified the engine.
Right. And it gives you more time. It'll give you more time to make the modifications that you can do to
and
that
perfect
engine.
it, because there was oil pan stuff, girdle stuff I wanted to do.
Yeah.
The rocker geometry stuff, it's going to take a little something to figure out. And then porting the heads, I really wanted to do a good job on that. And we don't have a flow bench. I'm actually looking for one so that we can do that stuff here. It's awesome that Bernie lets us borrow his at their automotive, but getting over there during my regular work hours is difficult. So anyways, this is a good thing. This is the saving grace on us maybe getting this done for Loring in July. And it's going to be a great way for us to understand what the stock little Ranger would actually do. And this one's a little bit of a hot rod, because this one, like I was saying earlier, this has the higher compression than the engine that was in her truck, so it's a little bit better already. Should be, but it's also got 140,000 miles and maybe some questionable cylinders. So,
yeah,
but pretty good. So pretty good though overall. Yeah. I think we beat on it, and it'll come out of it.
Yeah. Probably as good as anything. I mean,
yeah.
It'll buy you some time.
Yeah, it'll buy us some time. Yeah, do what I want to do, and we'll slide that.
If it ends up running really good, she can drive it, take it up there and run it. And
run the snot out of it, and then
for school.
And then come next spring, we'll have that other engine ready. As long as we don't get off on some other tangent, we'll have that other engine ready because we already have all the parts for it. Most everything we need, and we'll pull this one, slide that one in, and see what we can make for power and see if we can go faster.
Yeah, and you actually keep this for a spare.
Yeah, just keep this long block, and then so if that one runs good on the street too, which it should, because it won't be wild.
Yeah.
It should just be more efficient. Then yeah. So, all right. I think that's probably going to be all in one video, but maybe if I decide not, at this point you will now see us taking this engine out. Maybe.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Or maybe we'll wait for Brookie to help us.
I think maybe.
But then I don't know. We got to get this stuff done.
I know.
So we're in a pickle. But everybody has lives, though. We all have to accept the fact that I have 3 jobs. Gramp has retirement, and Brookie has,
which is a full-time job.
And Brooke's going to high school and college at the same time. So, and plays sports.
Yeah.
And needs to have a life too. So it is what it is. We put as much time into this as we can, but we're all just doing our thing.
I'm glad that I got my land speed car done. It's dynoed, and the only thing I've got left is an alignment this week because I put some different struts in the front. Glad I got it done so that I don't have to worry about it, and I can help these guys with this thing and try to get it so that Brooke and I can both go up together and race, because I just, I like going up there and racing, but it gets, I always feel like these 2 guys are helping me and nobody's racing with me, and it'd be nice for Brooke to go up. At least it'd be 2 of us, then Forrest get his done, and when the 3 of us go, that would be, of course, the ultimate thing. But
yeah.
Get one more, get Brookie to go. We'll get the old person and the young person.
Yeah, we'll try to get this going. It's going to be some late nights here and there, but things are going to clean up for me at work, and I'll have more time. Same amount of time, just I can devote it to this. And I did break a spark plug for the first time ever. And Grandpa's never done it, but I did it. I've done it now.
No, I think I have.
Have you? On accident or on purpose, though? I did this completely on accident. I have no idea what I did. I just side loaded a little bit too much and broke it. So that's
it doesn't happen too often.
$2. I just down the tubes.
Yeah.
All right. We're either done, or now you're gonna see this thing coming out. One or the other. I don't know. It's gonna be.
I think it's coming out.
I think it's coming out probably. Depends. We'll see. All right. Next.